India has finally approved two COVID-19 vaccines for emergency use. The Drugs Controller General of India has said that they are accepting the subject expert committee's recommendations to give Serum Institute of India's Covishield and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin restricted use in emergency cases. I am Amrutha, you are watching TV9 News, and this is what exactly the DCGI had to say. Listen in.
After adequate examination, the CDSCO has decided to accept the recommendations of the expert committee, and accordingly vaccines of Messrs Serum and Bharat Biotech are being approved for restricted use in emergency situation, and permission is being granted to Messrs Cadila Healthcare for conduct of phase 3 clinical trial in India.
Now, there are two main statements which the DCGI has made here. Firstly, that it is approving these particular vaccines for restricted uses in emergency cases. And secondly, it has also said that Covaxin is in fact recommended for use in cases where an infection is caused by a mutant strain of the novel coronavirus. Now, what do these both statements mean? We discussed with Dr Sitesh Roy, an immunologist based in Mumbai. DCGI has said it's for restricted use in emergency cases. So is it different from emergency use approval, or is it the same? And how does it work?
So I think it would be a very similar process to what we would expect with an emergency approval, just a different terminology. Restricted use would clearly suggest that there would be specific groups of people whom these vaccines would be given to, much like it is only being given to healthcare professionals, frontline workers in other parts of the world. The DCGI would certainly give us the guidelines on what they mean and for whom this is intended. But clearly this is a message to the general population that this is not for everyone yet. And I think that message needs to be loud and clear.
Okay, so still now the high priority group and frontline workers will be targeted, right?
And very likely people who have high comorbidity or risks may be also included in that group in the beginning, which would be at the discretion of the treating physicians as well as the guidelines that are given. So I would think that those would be the groups that it would be largely used for, such as in America, it's currently being used for people who are living in assisted care facilities, because there the outbreaks have been worst with the highest number of deaths. So like that, we will, it will be decided which of the groups need to get it in a restricted way.
Okay. So the second statement that the DCGI mentioned is of the immunogenicity of Covishield and Covaxin. For Covishield, they said that the immunogenicity data for India is comparable to what is available overseas, which is 70.42%. And for Covaxin, they have not mentioned any such percentage. So you see, there is an absence of what is the immunogenicity data for both of these vaccines in India itself. So how do you see that?
So I will actually like to clarify there, Amrutha. Immunogenicity just means the ability of the vaccine to incite the production of antibodies and cellular immunity, T cells, against the substances that are being injected. Immunogenicity is not equal to efficacy. What you're talking about in terms of Covishield, which is the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine that Serum Institute of India is manufacturing, we do have efficacy data on that, which says 70% when it is given in the general dosage and 90% in select groups that are given the vaccine. For the Bharat Biotech Covaxin, we do not have any efficacy data at this point. We only have safety and immunogenicity data. And that, I think, is a big difference that is very important for people to understand, that the Bharat Biotech Covaxin efficacy data is still, at least to the best of my knowledge, not in the public domain.
All right. So
both are safe and immunogenic, Amrutha, but the efficacy we have only for Covishield, not for Covaxin.
Okay, all right. So one more very surprising statement by DCGI was that they recommend Covaxin for the use in cases of infection with a mutant strain of the novel coronavirus. Now, as far as we know, vaccines are not given to people who are infected with the novel coronavirus. So, what does this, mean exactly that it is effective against the new strain or mutant strains?
So I think what the message they want to give is that the vaccines that are in development
Hmm.
are going to be effective against the mutant or variants of the SARS CoV2. I think
Hmm.
that's the message they are trying to give. You're absolutely right that in the midst of an infection, people can't be vaccinated. Vaccine is given for prevention of infection, not for treatment once a person is infected. So I think that if there's any confusion, that will be sorted out later. But clearly, what they're trying to say is that these vaccines, though they were developed on the previous variants of the virus that were isolated at NIV in Pune, what they are saying, and as all the other specialists around the world are saying, is that the new mutant or the new variant is not that different from the original one, that the existing vaccines would not work for them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roy, for sharing all
Thank
those
you.
insights and explaining those details to us. Now, what remains unanswered and what experts are concerned about is the lack of efficacy data for Covaxin, which is being announced, and also whether people will get to choose between the two vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, at least those who are there on the priority list. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, like, share, and subscribe to TV9 News. Thank you for watching.